Okay. I've risen my table up and it changed the lighting quite a bit. And, like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Visually, I am in my pajamas and, and no makeup, and, you know, I'm not the I'm not the prettiest thing to look at right now, but that's not important. What's important is that, um, oh, I've decided to make a dream journal or chronicle my dreams, and um, the one thing I want to talk about, like, actually, um, one of my first epic dreams that I had was about a tree of life and death. Like, it was like some sort of deity tree that, um, and it was not me in the dream. It was these two girls. But anyway, I'm gonna, and I had it a long, long time ago. Like, I had it back when I was in high school, but it was a dream that stuck out to me for a long time because I felt like, oh, it's so profound, and the symbolism in it, what, like, like a tree deity. That's kind of like, you know, throughout time, I think people have had some sort of feeling towards trees like that. So I don't think it's a new thing, but I figure, I don't know. At the very least, it's an interesting story. So, um, so basically, it's in this small town near like a lake or something, and it's a heavily wooded area anyway. So they kind of live out in the boonies, really, and like very similar to where I live in Oregon, where there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of nature and stuff like that. But anyway, so there was these two girls. Maybe they were in high school, maybe they were in middle school. I don't know. But they were coming home from school, I guess, or something, and they see this boy, and he looks a little strange, but he's around their age. And, girls being girls, they kind of have this little crush on him. And, so, like, you know, um, I didn't see this in the dream, but I got the impression that this was not their first time seeing him, obviously. But, like, they keep on seeing him, and he's such a strange looking character. They can't help but notice him. But then they have, like, one of the girls have, I'm gonna name it and Sarah and Linda. Okay, so there's two girls, Sarah and Linda. So Sarah is, there's like one that's a little bit more reserved, and then Linda is a little bit more um outgoing and wants to follow him. So that's her bright idea. She wants to go follow the boy, and Sarah's like, I don't know, like, she's got more like sense to her. But anyway, but Linda ends up talking Sarah into following him. So they do it kind of covertly. They're like kind of stalking him basically. And he's like buying supplies at a general store and doing all this kind of stuff. Um, and then he makes it out of the town, but he's like heading towards the forest. And so it's kind of hard for them to follow him into the forest because, like, I don't know how they did it in the dream because um he would have saw, but somehow in like dream logic they were not found. But anyway, so he's walking into the forest, and they were like, "Ooh, does he live in a cabin? Like, what's going on here?" Like, so they keep on following him. He keeps on walking into the forest, quite a ways, like for a good while, and then Sarah starts thinking, okay, like, he's been walking in the forest for a while. Like, maybe we should go back to town, because I mean, like, it's gonna take a long time for us to like go back. And Linda's like, no, 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 no. We've come all this way. We need to continue following him because, like, first of all, I don't even know if we'll be able to find our way back, you know, so it's like, let's just keep on going. So they ended up keeping on going. And so what happens is they eventually get to this area um, where the boy comes upon this tree, and it's a really grand tree, and it's like a magical tree because on the branches there's like these glowing. They almost look like parsnips, but it almost looks like a Christmas tree. How brightly they're shining, and the boy's just like going by the tree and kind of like caressing the trunk, and like he's talking to it and stuff like that, and the girls are watching from like behind another tree, you know, like pretty far away, and they're stunned at what they're witnessing because it's like, wow, what the hell is this tree? But anyway, so the boy goes, like, you could hear water in the background, so he goes over to like over towards the water, like he's going to like a river or something like that. Like, I don't know, maybe it's dream logic, maybe it's based off of my, you know, dream knowledge. But anyway, so he goes and leaves this little open area with the tree. Like, the tree's kind of sitting on this mound, but there's like a lot of grass, and like there's not like there's no other trees close by, so it's like it's kind of an open area, just this one tree. Um but then, like, you know, quickly after it becomes dense forest, you know, but it's just like this opening. And anyway, so when the boy leaves, the girls go up to the tree and they examine it, and they find, like, you know, like, oh, it's like so enchanted, like it's a fucking enchanted tree. Um so um they're like, nobody's gonna believe this, and then like Linda gets the idea of like, well, maybe we should get, like, there's like a kind of low hanging fruit, like one of the parsnips. They need to get one of the glowing parsnips, so they have proof that this is a thing, you know, blah 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 blah. And so the only way that they could get that is if Linda stands on Sarah's shoulders, they can reach one of the low hang, like, because it is a really big tree, but there just happens to be a few low branches. But so they're like, their plan is to get one of these glowing parsnips, and so, you know, somehow they do fandangle to get one. And like, like, you know, I think like if you've gone like apple picking or pear picking, like, or any sort of uh thing, you know, sometimes like you hear that like snap of the branch, you know, like, you know, when you pick it, like, you know, that sound. Well, that sound when they picked those parsnip actually was like a rolling thunder throughout the forest. And so the boy heard that, and he came back, and he was like, you know, like, what did you do? Like, what, like, why, like, you know, he's like, who are you? Like, why did you do this? Blah, 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 blah. And he was just, like, very frustrated with them. And, and then the crackling through the forest came back, and it reverberated, and then, like, you know, like it was like a second wave, basically, of, like, crack. And so he, like, you know, all three of them are looking around, and and then he's just like, ugh, and he's like, he explains to them, this is no ordinary tree. This is a god, and you've angered it. And he's like, I don't know what it will do with you. Like, he's like, I don't know what it will do to you. You know, like, and they're freaking out, and all of a sudden the forest around starts getting darker, like abysmal black. And so they get swallowed up by this darkness, and um all of a sudden there's like this vacuum, and they get sucked up into the blackness, the girls. But the boy, he ends up getting so dizzy he passes out on the floor, and like, he's not affected by this vacuum thing happening. but they pass out. And so this is when my dream kind of splits into two, where it's like what the girls are doing and what the boy is doing. So the girls unfortunately go through this like okay, the only way I could explain it is if you ever played the game Half-Life, um if you've played the game Half-Life, the first one, when you put in the crystal, or you put in the crystal thingy in the reactor, and then you get like like you get, oh sorry, you get these different I don't know, you like get tumbled through time and place and stuff, like it's like this weird transporter thingy where you get like, it's like a fever dream. You get transported to these different dimensions and stuff like that. Basically, they have like almost the exact same thing where they're like being teleported to these different dimensions and different like areas and times time periods and stuff like that, and like it's like a period of instability in like their temporal space or whatever, like they're just going through this craziness. And then for the boy, he like softly wakes up on the grass, like where he collapsed, and it looks more like okay, just to reference another game, Majora's Mask, um where the tree is on a hill. Actually, it's very much like Majora's Mask, and then like beyond the hill is just all these clouds and fog. So he was kind of in a world kind of like that, where it's like just this foggy mist and whatnot. And but it's light, like there's soft light. Like the girls are in like dark and harsh lighting and stuff like that. Like they're going through crap, and he's picking up that. So apparently, I don't know how I gained this knowledge. It was just kind of given to me, the ego brain, through magical means, I guess. It wasn't what happened in the dream, but basically I was given the knowledge that the tree really loved the boy and was like kind of manipulating the boy and keeping him and blah 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 blah. And he made a deal. Like actually the boy is like several hundred years old or several thousand years, I don't know, like he's ancient as the tree. And that's why he looks different. Like he like that's why he stuck out to the girls, because he's not from that time era. But like it's because he is in servitude to the tree. He made a deal with this tree deity to revive. I don't know if it was his sister or his lover, like, because they're in high school or middle school, right? So I don't know the dynamic, but like a dear beloved one of his, he wanted to resurrect this girl who he really adored. And the tree did that, but it was like the price was servitude. And so from the tree bark, like it started oozing out this like mucus or liquid. And so then the boy kind of like ripped away some of the bark and revealed that like within like a little pocket membrane within the tree was this girl that he wanted resurrected. She just came spluing out, and she was wearing like a white dress or whatever, but you know like what happens when you wear white and it's wet. But anyway, she came splurting out of the tree, and he was just like amazed, and like it was almost like the tree talked in his mind. Like, there was no like disembodied voice or anything like that. It was more like cogsentience, or what is it called, like when you just know stuff. Like the tree spoke to him and was like, basically it was like it kind of duped him because it brought her back. Like he was like, "Yes, this is your um this is your reward," but it was like they the only way he the only way the tree can bring back the girl was in this pocket dimension. It was not like a real, like, it had to make a separate reality for it to actually bring her back. Anyway, so going to back to the girls, finally they stabilize, but they stabilize in the past. So they're living in like this, like, maybe it's the pioneer days, maybe it's even earlier. I don't really remember. And I don't remember their whole entire, like, they had like a whole entire epic adventure, but I don't really remember that part of it. But what happens to be the thing that they need to do in order to return, because like that's the whole entire thing, they're stuck there and they're like, well, how are we supposed to get back, like blah blah blah. And Linda keeps on holding on to the, like, like they they just keep the parsnip, like, uh away from people and away from whatever and blah 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 blah. But I think eventually they talk to a witch or something, and the witch tells them to plant it, and they ended up digging a hole, and then they plant the parsnip, and then um it like grows rapidly, and then time and space around them kind of like hype, like it goes by fast, like, like it's like the time is returning to them or whatever during that time. So we go back to what the boy's doing. So the girl that plopped out of the tree, she wakes up and she's like, why have you done this? Like, like, let's call him Ezra. I don't know. Like, Ezra, why did you do this? Um, and he's like, I love you, and I wanted to bring you out. He's like, this is not natural, Ezra. I died a long time ago. You need to go back to live your life, and you need to save those girls. Like, we can't stay in this pocket dimension. Like, this is not living. I know that you did this for me, but this is not living, and you need to return back to your time, or back to, you know, the world. And like the tree's like, no, listen to me. Like it's a really creepy tree. Like it really likes Ezra. He just wants to keep Ezra, and it's like, no, don't listen. But so she kind of the girl is like, no, don't listen to the tree, and like she kind of like pushes him into the mist, and he like falls or something. Like, so it was like an island. It was like a floating island or something. But anyway, so then there's like the cracks in the thunder, and he's like falling back asleep or whatever. And then the girls are having the tree grow right in front of them, and somehow they both like meet. Like, so he's falling, they're rising, and then they both meet at the same time with the tree, and the tree's in front of them, and they're both back at the same like time where the girls are from. And that's my dream. That was my fucking dream. It was so epic. I don't know if there's a movie out there, like if like my little kid brain forgot about it or something, but I think it's more of like an amalgamation of like many different fantasy tropes and different things like that. But that's when I woke up. I woke up when they both came together again. So, like, it was just an epic dream. I don't know if there's like any. I mean, you could probably take apart it and find some sort of meaning behind the symbolism and stuff like that. But really what it came across to me as like it was like a really cool movie almost, you know, like I dreamt of a movie that maybe should be made. I don't know, um, but yeah, I just was fascinated with all the characters because they were so developed and they were so intricate and different and stuff like that. So um, I'm just yeah. I mean, I would make a story out of it. I could definitely like expand on it for sure and make it like a actual thing, but it was a dream, so that's what I want to chronicle it as. Anyway, that's it for now. So take care, be good, bye bye.